the real I love you will come after all the ups and downs in the relationship. If one day she will think that you're not the one, she could easily just move on to the other one. I'm gonna support you, I'm gonna help you with this, but I want your. If there's no string attached and just purely transaction, go ahead, just give me the cash. So you've met a Filipina. Is it a partnership or a transaction?
Tonight, we're going to say the quiet part out loud. Every relationship has an exchange. Time, energy, affection, money, and security. But sometimes the exchange becomes the foundation.
And when exchange becomes foundation, you're not building a partnership. You are negotiating a contract.
We're going to pull 10 scenarios. And for each of these scenarios, we're going to ask,
is this real partnership?
Or is this transactional dressed up as romance? Stay to the end, because the last three
are the ones most men don't understand.
Partnership or transaction. First, we have our $12,000 US per month provider with non-exclusive terms. We've talked about him before with will you stay or will you go?
Yeah.
But today we want to know, is this a transaction or is this
a partnership?
Partnership. He offers luxury, allowance, lifestyle, but he says, I don't do exclusivity. She accepts. Is she choosing freedom or choosing funding?
It's funding.
Funding.
Yeah, it's transaction.
It's a transactional relationship.
It's almost like no strings attached, because once you attach the string, there will be jealousy, there will be insecurity, there will be protecting of your man not to be exposed with other women. But if there's no string attached and just purely transaction, go ahead, just give me the cash.
We had a client and he had a girl in Iloilo and he gave her $250 US every single week. And he didn't really care about the tattoo on her chest or her background.
Because it's not real love, it's just transaction. I'm gonna have somebody to talk, acting like a best friend. When I'm bored, I have entertainment, give you the money, that's it. No love, no demands, no this is what you're gonna do, you should be loyal, no loyalty demanded.
What does her family think? We'll take this first scenario. She's living large in BGC and her man disappears for 2 months a year, going to Thailand, doing whatever he wants, and she's shopping and living the life. Do they know she's not in love?
Yeah, they will see it.
What is she the same in their mind? Is she the same as a bar girl?
Not really, because she's not literally working in the bar and have different clients. She's just like sticking to one client who's supporting her and her needs. And the friends will say she's transactional. That's all. All
right, let's go to the next scenario, Chrissy. The 28-year-old who quits her job immediately. He says, you don't need to work. She stops working within weeks. Is that trust or accelerated dependency? The foreigner says, you don't need to work. Boom, she quits her job. We had this scenario where she was pulling a visa scam, the girl, and she suggested she could travel to the United States, and he said, yeah, we could look into it, and next thing you know, he got a phone call. She quit her job. She needed money for rent.
Without talking to him first.
Without talking to him first. But in this scenario, the one we've painted, he says, you don't need to work, and boom, she quits her job. They've only known each other 2 weeks.
Oh. I think if they've discussed it, really, really good, real discussion, and she quit her job, that's trust.
But he only makes $1,200 US a month.
I think that's trust. Like, she trusted him.
Yeah.
She trusted his words that he can support her.
The fact that she quits her job, that's not transactional relationship. She's out of, okay, I'm done. I'm no longer working. You take care of me. I'm the 1,200.
It depends on what happened next after quitting the job. If after quitting the job...
You don't have enough data. It could be transactional, but you need more data.
If after quitting the job, you know, she do something for him, they travel together as like a travel buddy, they live in one house, they're being loyal and in love with each other.
Okay.
That's partnership.
Okay, partnership.
But if just, she's in a boarding house, he's in the USA, she quit her job, she's waiting for all the supports financially, that's transaction.
In an LDR, she quits her job and now he's sending money they haven't met in person. That's transactional.
That's transaction.
Okay. And we always tell men, don't send money before you meet. What do we have? 2 rules. Have the golden rule: never ever send money before you meet the woman in person, because then you lose the signal and you get the noise. And number 2, never get on an airplane without vetting the woman's social media. Okay, next. Number 3, another $1,200 per month loyal good man. He offers stability, kindness, faithfulness. She offers companionship, domestic partnership, and support. Low money, high reciprocity. Is this the most balanced model? He doesn't have a lot of money. She doesn't really make, she's probably not college educated. He doesn't make much, but she gives a traditional role. She'll be there for him.
I would say it's partnership. The thing that can measure a relationship, if it's real relation partnership or transaction, is when you remove the money.
Oh yeah, but you can't. But even like people are always calling it, oh, it's the money, it's the money. Look, in the West, you're in college and you meet a girl at a party and she says, what's your major? And you go, sociology, I'm gonna be a social worker. She goes, cha-ching, not much of a cha-ching. The next man she meets at the party, he says, oh, my father's a doctor, my grandfather's a doctor, I'm pre-med. She goes, you're the man I'm interested in. Now, come on, every woman is looking for security and she's looking for someone to father children, and she's looking at your genes and she's looking at your earning potential, whether it's in the West or anywhere. But Chrissy, this is a question I have for you. Once you get here, you meet all these other expat couples, and very quickly the women all share how much their allowance is. They all share their financial setup. Whether the man gives permission or not, Filipinas are just like, I hope you don't, but you've heard so much. The question is, if you're beautiful and you speak really good English and you're well educated and you met the $1,200 US a month man with $6,000 in the bank, and he takes you to the expat meetup and you meet these average looking Filipinas, they're 10 years older than you, and they landed the big whale, the whale shark, they're making $12,000 a month. What do you think?
Well, it depends on our connection, if I'm gonna like him, if we match, we have chemistry, we understand each other, we're happy together, why not? That's why we always advise men to not flash your money around, or else it could attract the wrong person.
Yeah, well, that's it. Never lead with your money. There are a lot of women. Now, we've met women in these relationships, and they're upfront about it. They're not in it for the love. They're in it for their kids' sake. They're in it for the security, and maybe they liked each other initially, but not so much anymore.
Yeah, $1,200 a month is big in the Philippines.
You're really upper middle class at that point, right?
Yes, and the word comfortable is really depending on your lifestyle. If you're trying to build a lifestyle that is way above your monthly source of income, then it's gonna, give you pressure. It's gonna stress you out. But if you're gonna do a minimalist lifestyle where your $1,200 a month could still have, extra to go out in a moderate restaurant.
So
once
even
a week.
you could have a transactional relationship with $1,200 a month. You could meet a Filipina that she's just into the $1,200. It's enough.
Yes, especially if she's not just contacting you, but also 3 other men. That's very transactional. It's just like all the money. But there's one guy commented in our video that all the love, all the relationship in the world comes with transaction.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I do. Okay, here we go. The generous provider sending $25,000 monthly to the family. Remittance pesos. It's like $450. Family praises him. Respect grows. If the money stops, would the respect change? What's your answer?
if the respect will change, that's a sign that it was just all transactional.
We've had clients who've never met the woman and they bought an air conditioner and they're sending $500 a month for electricity.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, you've created this monstrous situation. If after talking to us, he says, I'm not paying for the electricity anymore, what happens to this relationship?
Really depending how you build up, you know,
Yeah.
the relationship at the very beginning. You build it up with transaction, it will end up transactional.
I mean, can you imagine this family hasn't used air conditioner in 20 years? You
Yeah.
buy them an air conditioner, you pay for the
Yeah.
contractor to install it, and they're using it 24 hours a day because, hey, they don't pay the electric bill. And then all of a sudden, after 6 months of living life in air conditioning, you pull the plug.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to cite an example. Like, one day I'll be going home in my hometown, and you told me, Chrissy, you know what? Just rent a good hotel when you're there to stay. If the you don't really have to suggest that to a Filipina if you really want to. And I would say most of the transactional Filipina will have a pattern. You know, they will show you that they cannot survive living on a lifestyle they had before. Then, you know, if they will go back to the lifestyle they had before, they can't survive. So it's kind of like a sign that she's being transactional.
You don't want to stay at a hotel. You're going to stay in where you grew up, which
Yeah.
is really rough. We've showed it once before on the channel. If you search our library, you'll find it. But you plan to show that.
So my plan was just to, you know, to sleep over with my sister, and, you know, because what I am going there is not for comfort, but for the gathering, for the reunion of the
Yeah.
other siblings.
Okay, let's look at the next scenario. The jealous protector. He provides fully, limits her social life. She tolerates restrictions. Is she trading freedom for security? The man's overly jealous. He really tamps down on, hold on, you got a bug. He really tamps down on her social life. He's very controlling. Is she trading security for freedom?
Kind of. Yeah. It depends on the level of the control.
So is this a transaction or is this love? Is this romance?
Too much controlling is not love. It's just insecurity of yourself
But the woman, why is she in this relationship with a man who's that controlling?
because of the money.
So it's transactional.
Transactional.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The fast I love you couple. They escalate quickly. Plans of marriage in 3 months. Is urgency driven by emotion or by opportunity?
Opportunity. Yeah.
So-
I would say the real I love you will come after all the ups and downs in the relationship.
You really know what you're getting
After
into.
all the down low, if she still say I love you, that's the real one.
You know, we're always telling men that when women introduce friction, they introduce, oh, another man is pursuing me. My boss is trying to hit on me and forgive a loan. My mother insists that we get married immediately.
Yeah.
When they introduce friction, you have to ask why. They may be really after the transaction.
Yeah, you know, I remember in a real estate, like somebody will sell the house to you and they will say, hey, you know what, this is the nicest house you could ever see in this village. And if you're not gonna grab this now, I already have another buyer that's gonna
Friction.
buy this
Yeah.
next week. And they're just gonna put friction on you to make a move, make the transaction
Try and
fast.
close the deal. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
some men are into that because they feel like they're old and they don't want her to change her mind and
Yeah.
realize how old they are. But you have to wonder, why is he so insecure? I never thought I would get married again. Chrissy always expected to be married again. And when I met Chrissy and I met her family and I saw the kind of life she came from, you know, I reevaluated and we ended up getting married. But we waited a year and 3 or 4 months.
You know, it's in the Philippines, you should be worried if the Filipina is not willing to be married, because this gonna be a sign that she doesn't want to be tied up with you, and everything that she's doing right now is just like a reciprocation of the money that you are sending. It's a play, you know, like she doesn't want to put an end game.
Yeah.
She just want to keep playing. And if one day she will think that you're not the one, she could easily just move on to the other one because you're not married. And I would say that's the kind of transaction.
Let me ask you, before you went online or when you decided to go online, did you talk to any relatives or classmates for advice? Did they warn you not to ask for money?
I think in general that is like women's number one rule when chatting foreigners outside. They will always say, "Do not ask for money. That's a very bad move."
form. And, you know, all men are told, don't be over-sexualized in your conversation. Don't make over-sexualized requests.
Yeah.
You could have the lights turned off on your relationship immediately. Women, like you, as a woman, if a man goes there early, what does that tell you?
He's just there for me for that kind of entertainment.
And what should a man, and so many men, the inverse is if a woman has been told and taught not to ask for money, it's not a good look, and she right away goes for a loan, and she needs, and her kids in the hospital. But the men it's not enough money to scare the men away. Why do you think the men don't get scared off?
Because for them it's not too much. Like, what is $100? What is a $200? And they were thinking that it was a help. You know, it was their sympathy. It's like their message of sympathy to the woman that, oh, I feel sorry about you. Here's the money, you know.
But your advice is they should blow out just like the woman blows up.
Yeah, that should be a big red flag and a warning to you. And you just don't know. After all, you thought that you were building connections on the preliminary conversations you had with the woman, but for her, it's just really a sales talk.
And once he sends money,
once you send money, that's where the transaction begins.
And so the signal, which is what you were listening to, you'll never hear the signal again, because from that moment on, you've sent money. And if the minimum wage is $7 a day and you've sent $200, you will not get sincerity ever again.
Yeah, after sending money, she will show you sweetness. She will show you happiness. You will never know if that's real.
Even if she meets another man she's more interested in more, she'll continue to sweet talk him, right?
Yes, you will never know if it's real or not anymore because of the money that you sent.
Okay, let's go to the next scenario, Chrissy. The 70-year-old with a structured estate. He's transparent. His will is drafted. His beneficiary is clear. She commits deeply. Structure increases security. Security increases affection. Is that transactional or just mature planning?
It could fall to mature planning. It could be also transactional. It really depends on how you met the Filipina. What do you do when you're together? Like, you know.
I guess if he's this well structured and this well off, a woman could fall in. It's just so appealing. The security is so appealing. You maybe you just can't trust it's really a romance.
Yeah, that's why we're always saying don't
lead with your money.
Yeah, don't lead with your money. Don't flash money around. And that's the only way you can find out if the Filipina is being your partner or being just another transaction in all of the transactions that you have.
After my divorce and I first started dating, I dated this woman, and after a divorce I had barely 2 nickels to rub together, and I was tight. And after a few weeks she said to me, I have a girlfriend, and she met this man, and he claimed he made very little money and he had no money in the bank, and they dated for like 3 months, and he was just a down and out broke guy. And after 3 months he surprised her and said, I'm actually very wealthy, but as a test I pretended to be poor. She said to me, "That's not you, is it?" I said, "No, it's not. I'm just got divorced. I have no money."
That's every teenager woman's fantasy.
A fantasy.
Yeah, like teenagers or women in 20s, they have this fantasy. Because I think I had that fantasy because we're like reading books or reading novels, and there's a lot of scenarios where the man pretended to be a very poor man, but then he ended up to be a really, really rich CEO of a company and all that. Right. It's a fairy tale.
So look at that story. If you show up as well-structured and wealthy and generous, and there's no opportunity for you to evaluate if there's romance. There's just too strong a financial draw to a woman in a third world country. And that's why so many people are like writing in the comments, "It's a gold digger, she's a gold digger." Anybody growing up that poor, having that many poor family members, who wouldn't betray themselves and claim romance? Well, it's up to you men not to lead with your money. Take the picture of the 80-inch TV away from the video chat. Don't put it in your profile. Don't stand in front of the Mercedes and the Corvette. No. Don't lead. Take off the jewelry. And don't be too honest. You don't want to lie on the second and third and fourth video chat, but don't be so out up front about your resources, you may not know what you're getting into. All right, next, Chrissy. The $5,000 US per month remote worker who audits every expense. He provides, but he tracks every dollar. She feels watched. Is that partnership or employer-employee dynamic?
Kind of like employer-employee dynamics,
Yeah,
you
this
know.
business of being,
There's not much of freedom of the woman.
he's like an accountant. He's tracking every peso.
Yeah, he's tracking everything. It should be all in the receipt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like very transaction. You always have receipts.
Yeah. It's too much accountability, maybe.
Yeah.
Not enough.
I mean, for big expense, it's very important to find a receipt. But for small stuff,
you have to have some self-respect in a relationship, right?
yeah,
And if you don't work and someone's tracking every peso you spend,
yeah. You know what? In the Filipina as well, there are also some instances that they will feel like the man is just being transactional. Like, for example,
yeah.
I'm gonna support you, I'm gonna help you with this, but I want your naked photos. So it's very transactional, you know, like it's from last equivalent to money,
Yes.
something like that.
I agree. We have known many people who lead with their money. It's like very common. Men lead with their money, and it's very transactional. Do you really think they're in love with this Filipina? No, their style is to lead with money to attract the woman.
Yeah.
And the woman they attract, they use for maybe 3 months or 6 months, and then they're off to the next one.
Yeah. Like they will say, I have another girlfriend in Butuan, maybe. I have another girlfriend in Cebu, but don't worry, I'm gonna give you 20,000 pesos a month.
To go away.
If I'm here in Cebu, she's my girlfriend. If I'm there in Mindanao, you're my girlfriend. And that's a very transactional offer from a man. And then if the woman will say yes, of course she's being transactional.
And I
it's
think
not love.
men, comment below. Are you being transactional? Are you looking for love? A lot of you don't want to get married ever again. And the worst thing that could happen is to fall in love with a woman who does want to get married. Many of you have written me, oh, you're crazy. Rent, don't buy it. Don't buy the cow. Rent the milk.
Don't marry.
Don't marry, you've told me. What a fool this man is. He bought a $30,000 house for his wife. I've heard it from everybody. What is your opinion? Put it in the comment below. Let's go to the next one, Chrissy. The single mom with high expectations. She expects school funding, parent support, long-term security. He expects affection, exclusivity, and priority. Is this love or negotiated exchange?
It's negotiated exchange. It's just like hiring and presenting the job description.
So she's got 4 children under the age of 12, and she lets him know private school, nannies, tutoring, after-school activities, summer camp. We're going to live in a good neighborhood adjacent to the good private school. You're going to let me shop at the mall. I get to go out with my girlfriends once a month, sing karaoke. It's all negotiated.
It's all negotiated. I mean, when you meet a Filipina, it's really nice to talk about reality. What do you think will happen when you're here in the Philippines? What I'm gonna do? What are we gonna do with my, with my child and all that? That's reality. But for her to demand,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
When we met, we negotiated.
Yeah.
Your son lived with your in-laws, and we spent the first year without your son.
He's just coming over.
And you said to me you would like, after 2 years alone, for your son to be integrated into our family. And I said, absolutely. And but I needed that first year alone. And after 1 year, we invited your son to live with us. And but the first year, we didn't buy land, we didn't buy houses, we didn't get married, we didn't send anybody to private.
We made YouTube.
We made YouTube. And I told you I didn't want you to work, and I would give you a stipend of a little bit more than half your teaching salary, and you could do whatever you wanted with it. So I think it's important to paint a picture. Sometimes we talk to clients and we say, in a perfect world, where are you 6 months from now? We had somebody recently say, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's going to come across to the woman. She wants to know where, if everything is perfect, are you going to still be on the phone in an LDR? Will you have been to the Philippines and started a K1? Will you start winding up your operations in the West and plan on moving? Maybe she doesn't need to be married, but she needs to know she's lit a spark in you and you have a plan.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I always say, do not believe that you're in love on the first month of meeting up online, I guess. Believe that you have a good connection, you have a good chemistry, you know, you connect mentally, emotionally, but to conclude that it is love, it's
Too soon.
Too soon. I think you have to meet in person, live together.
Yes.
I would say during those times, everything is like transactional, a give and take, observing, getting to know each other. It's all transaction, pure transaction. But then after that, you will know if do you really love the person
this your
or
best
not.
friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you can conclude this is not transaction anymore. This is pure.
And
This is love.
You know, there's a PhD psychologist, Orion Taraban, I've mentioned before. He says right around the 3-month mark, your partner will show you who they really are. And many men feel like this is the beginning of the end. And it's actually the end of the beginning. And if you're willing to stay, and you will now be able to evaluate the person you've selected. This is the real person. Everybody can wear a mask for 3 months and be on a honeymoon at a 5-star resort. But when they get triggered, when family members get sick, when kids make demands, when money gets tight, you will start to see the real person you're with. And if the mask the person put on was not too severe, if you didn't get misled too severely, then the transition to the real person will be gentle and you have a chance of entering into a long-term lasting relationship.
Yes.
Now, Chrissy, you offer a service, a ethical and moral social media checks, and you find out what's behind the mask before the man flies on the airplane. And I've said to people before, never send money to a Filipina, number one, before you meet her. Number two, never get on an airplane. Just absolutely never should you get on an airplane and come see a Filipina. You haven't researched her social media, either with our free 13-page PDF, which you can just write to us and get it for free, or having Chrissy do it for you, a 4 to 6 hour deep dive over 3 to 4 days. And I wouldn't even tell my sister and my best friend that I met a Filipina until I did that. But don't get on an airplane. You are just flying blind. You would never hire somebody in corporate America without doing a reference check, and a well-run corporation wouldn't let you do the reference check. You'd be biased at the point you wanted to make the offer. There'd be a neck biter in HR doing it.
And if you're not sure which of her action is really a red flag or a sign of her being deceitful, we have an online relationship assessment tool that will help you verify.
It's going to give you a score. Are you at risk, high risk, moderate risk, low risk? The results stay on your local device. They don't get shared with anybody. But if you want, you can email the results to Chrissy for her opinion.
Yes, just email your result at flymetothe.philippines@gmail.com.
Last but not least, Chrissy, the last scenario. The 62-year-old who feels invisible in the West. He says, she makes me feel alive. She says, he makes me feel safe. Validation exchanged for security. Is that a beautiful balance or mutually convenient?
Beautiful balance, I guess. But it could be as well just a mutual convenient. I think it's very hard because there's a little difference.
I think this is the essence of an age gap relationship. A young, beautiful, attractive woman under pressure to be a breadwinner to her family, earning $400 a month as a school teacher. She's obviously looking for some security in a relationship. A man wants her youth and her beauty, and he wants a best friend. And one day he's going to be 80 years old, and he might want someone to take care of him instead of being shoved off into an old age home in Los Angeles, okay? So, I think that's the essence of most age gap relationships.
Yes.
Now,
there's a give and take, and some, the give and take, some people will translate as a transaction.
Yes.
But I think as long as the transaction that you're doing is for the goodness of both parties, and you build your relationship too strong because of the give and take, there's nothing wrong with that. The worst transactional relationship is that when the woman is getting the benefits, but the man is not getting his.
Yeah. That sounds like a relationship in the West, a long-term relationship that turns sour. In America, when you meet that pre-med student, there's like this transaction in your mind. Wow, I could be the wife of a rich doctor. But if you fall in love with the boy, if you have a real romance, And it comes with benefits. Nobody would call that woman a gold digger. And so in an age gap relationship, yeah, you want youth, you want beauty, she wants security, but you're a man, she's a woman. You spend your time together, you go on vacation together, you are intimate together. If love blossoms, it can be real. And a lot of people who've never lived or walked in our shoes, they just don't understand that. And that's just the way it is. So many men that take advantage of our big brother, little sister consulting package. They're like, why? You know, Rob and Chrissy, how do I do what you do? Where do I find this life you're living? Where can I find a woman like Chrissy? And there are tens of thousands of school teachers and police officers and dental assistants here in the Philippines making $300 or $400 a month who their boyfriend or their husband died or cheated or turned to drugs or were unreliable and now they're living at their mother's house. They don't want to go overseas and leave their one child behind. They are ready and looking to meet you and they're wanting some help. And who wouldn't want a big brother and a little sister to stay with you for 3 to 6 months and help you every step of the way? And we have a book we're giving away for free, A Western Man's Guide to Dating in Asia and the Philippines. We have interviewed over 643 men. And we have learned where the potholes are, and we've learned where the pots of gold are. And there's some real significant do's and don'ts in that book, Chrissy's tips, my tips, rules of the road. Send us an email at flyme2thephilippines@gmail.com. We'll send that to you for free. You want to come find out where to retire in the Philippines? We wrote a book, Chrissy. What is it called?
The Dumaguete City Guide 2026.
Chrissy has a relationship assessment tool. It's perfectly free. Here's the barcode, and in the description box, the first comment pinned, you'll find links for all these services and all these freebies from your little sister and your big brother. It's Rob and Chrissy.
Only here from Fly Me to the Philippines.